Hi, welcome to the third Prodrive Meetup. Today we'll be talking about the lights out factory of the future and how we are implementing this vision within Prodrive. So first off, I will start with what is the lights out factory vision and why do we want to achieve that. Then I will be talking about the PWA application, which stands for Prodrive Workcenter Automation, which is the application I am working on at Prodrive. Then I will be talking about why this application helps us achieving the lights out factory vision, and then about other applications we need within Prodrive for this vision. So first out, what is lights out factory? So the idea of lights out factory is to automate as much as possible within your factory. So basically everything, ideally. And once you've automated everything, well, you don't need people anymore, so you could just turn off the lights, hence the name. But the goal is not really to get rid of people. The goal is to increase machine efficiency, machine utilization, and to collect more data about your processes. So having less people is more of a side effect of that. So one such application we do have within Prodrive, which is as close as we can from lights out factory, is the assembly line for the SGPS product. So this is a product which we assemble one product per minute, and it's a pretty complicated product. There's lots of parts to it. It has to be airtight, so there's also glue. This would be a very complicated product to assemble by hand. So we have automated it, and we have a full assembly line for this within Prodrive, which consists of 39 assembly cells. So one cell does one step of the assembly process. And just to put that into perspective, that is 23 robot arms which are needed to assemble this product. We do not have just the assembly line, we also have a test line. So once we have assembled the product, we also need to test it before we ship it to the customer to make sure everything is correct. We also have a dedicated line for this. The transport of all the different parts of this product and also the final product, so between storage to the assembly line to the test line back to storage before we ship it to the customer, this is all done by automated guided vehicles, which are also designed within Prodrive. We do have several manual work sessions around this project as well, so not everything needed to be fully automated, but the bulk of it is. And despite that, and despite the fact that we are working 3 shifts per day, 6 days a week, to assemble this product, this was not enough. So we are also building another assembly line to increase capacity. So if we needed to assemble this product by people, that would be a lot of people that are required, and the process would be so complicated. We would also have a lot of failures because a lot can go wrong in this product if you do not assemble it properly. So doing it by hand would be very, very hard indeed. Another example where lights out factory is useful is just to increase machine utilization for very slow machines. So we do have some machines that might take 1 or 2 hours to process a single product. So it doesn't seem like it's worth to automate, because you need somebody for 5 minutes to prepare a product and to collect data from the machine. And that only happens once per hour or per 2 hours. So that it's not a lot of overhead, but requiring people to do that means we have a lower machine utilization. So one thing that we can do now is one person will be able to prepare multiple products just before the evening shift ends, put them in the machine, and the machine will be able to do its job fully automatically at night. What this also brings us is less human errors, because the process is now also able to collect data from the machine directly and put it in the proper database, which used to be done manually. So once in a while, people maybe start the wrong process, start the wrong measurement, or copy the wrong data into the result. This cannot happen anymore. But not everything is worth fully automated or even partially automating. We do have some very low production systems within Prodrive. And we do also have some tricky things to automate. So for example, screwing or anything with flexible part is tricky. So if you have a tricky part and low volume production, it's really not worth fully automating. But you still want to have some level of automation and monitoring. So we do use smart tools, for example, for these. So the goal here is really to just avoid human errors, collect more data automatically so that people are more focused about the actual assembly rather than assemble, collecting data. But we also can have interactive help in these tools, because now the tools are able to know where in the process the technicians are, so we can also help them in that sense. At the core of our outside factory is the PWA application, Prodrive Workcenter Automation. That's the application I work on. And this is a very generic application. It has more than 150 different add-ons. So these are different machines we've integrated, different services, different assembly steps, which are all being used daily at Prodrive. So how does this application help with the outside factory vision? Well, it has basically two sides. One side for production. This is what is running in the factory every day, and this is meant to be as automated as possible. So very few human interaction, ideally none at all for most of our products. And the other side is the scripting mode. So before we can assemble a product, we need to instruct the machine how to do that. Maybe there is a panel I need to put there. So I need a robot to go pick that part, place it on the main product. So this is done in a scripting mode of the application. And you might wonder, why do we do it in this graphical scripting mode instead of directly from software? Well, the issue there is that the software engineers don't really know about all the different products that we make within Prodrive. On the other hand, the designer of a product knows exactly how to assemble it, but they are not software engineers. So this graphical programming language is kind of a middle ground, which enables people with less software knowledge to be assembling or to prepare the assembly steps of a product. One of the main challenges to reach the outside factory is the scalability. So maybe you have fully automated one process, but then it's already used 24/7 and you need a second one of this. So you need to be able to duplicate the exact same machine and to still be able to work fully automatically. So you shouldn't have to be able to spend any time to retweak all of your products. And you should be able to assemble a product in any assembly solution that you have. So the application also helps with that by keeping the data about the process, but its calibration separated. And also the configuration is split into different specific or generic configuration. And calibration is extremely important. That's something we also do in-house within Prodrive. So if you need to assemble something, the robot needs to be able to know exactly where everything is. So we have calibration between the robot and all of its pick-and-place areas, between the pick-and-place areas and the cameras and the robot, really to make sure that everything is calibrated as much as possible. And so when we duplicate hardware setup, they work exactly the same way. If you had a fully automated factory, it wouldn't be very useful if you still had to spend weeks commissioning new products. So at Prodrive, we have a very high mix of products. We make over 10,000 different kinds of products. So we also want to be able to automate the process from design all the way to manufacturing. So we don't need to spend several weeks commissioning a product every time, which would mean very low machine utilization, and you need people at the factory floor blocking your machines for a while just to design the programs, test everything. So we are also automating this process. Within Prodrive, we use Siemens NX a lot to do the designs of all of our products. That's not an in-house application, but we do have plugins which are developed in-house for this application. So for example, a designer would be able to instruct that a product is pickable this way, and we can export this data automatically and use it automatically so that people at the factory do not have to figure out which tool they need to use, where they can pick a product. This can all be exported directly from the design. And we do have also a lot of other applications that are required for the light-set factory vision. So we have PLM, which is product lifecycle management. So that basically collects all of the information you need from your product, from the design all the way to the customer. Manufacturing execution system, that's something PWA is a component of. So PWA does the very low level talking to the hardware, but you also have higher level keeping track of everything. So the traceability and also what needs to be done when. That's another application above PWA, which is also developed in-house. Of course, we have our AGVs, very important part of the logistic, bringing components from where they are stored to where they are needed, when they are needed. So that's the AGVs, but this also requires the logistic execution system. So this is a higher level that does all the planning for this. And of course, assembly is one thing, but testing is another thing. So we also need to be able to test all of our products. And we also have an application in-house for this. So this is also a fully automated process. So that's it for me today. Thank you very much for joining. And we will have more meetups in the future about these different applications. Thank you.